Human trafficking is run by cartels. It's very high yield, but very low risk for them. Versus in the narcotics trade, where you have so many people interacting in that business model, but now they're seeing, listen, I can grab this girl, I could put her to work 10 times a night, making thousands of dollars a week, and I'm selling that product over and over again.
The general conception that people have of human trafficking is, you mentioned human trafficking, and they expect girls in chains in the trunk of a car. That's not the reality of it at all. A lot of times, it's a romantic relationship.
They get you to start liking them, like, oh, we're fun, we're just having fun, this, and that. I was with my trafficker, and he was, giving me drugs so that I can work and do, the sexual activities without a care. It was hard for me to accept that I was in that position. I always had an excuse, like, no, but, it was my fault because I was being reckless and naive.
These victims cannot and will not, and nor will we force them to go through that trauma, to testify, to be deposed, to walk into a strange courtroom, to tell the world what demeaning, shameful things happen to you is a very traumatic thing to do.
Our clinicians will tell you this is probably one of the toughest populations that we've had to work with. They suffer from PTSD, severe trauma, and it's not just a little bit, this is like severe and prolonged trauma for many, many, many years. I think if people better understood it, they'd be a lot more sensitive to the fact that no, it's not one size fits all.
Especially with human traffic victims, you kind of blame yourself in a way for being in that predicament. And it's very normal for other people to blame you too. Like, oh no, that's because, you do promiscuous things and you dress promiscuous and you asked for this and you fell into their trap. You never left. That's a big one too. You never decided to leave.
A lot more difficult without your victim. Some cases are possible, but
yes,
it just strengthens your case when you have your victim.
So prosecutors in these kinds of cases have to really make tough choices. And so if charging money laundering, if charging prostitution, if charging code violations and charging health violations and taking licenses away from them and taking their money away from them and taking their homes or whatever else we can get saves the victim from having to go into the courtroom and be traumatized, prosecutors often make that choice. And I think in many ways that's the right choice.
Our jobs as prosecutors is to see that justice is done, and we have to balance that in terms of being aware of the status of the victims involved. The trauma bonds have to be broken. That is why the cases are so complex, why they take so long to prosecute, because it's not about going in, making an arrest and prosecuting right away. It doesn't work that way with these cases.
If you look at it, it's just like narcotics dealing. You take the dealer off the street and another dealer pops up. This person was enslaving people. And when the public starts realizing that slavery is happening every day, when they're sitting in the juror's box and they have that understanding, now the federal and state prosecutors can better tell the story so that more and more convictions for human trafficking can happen. And now that we have done more and more of these cases, more state and locals are taking and adopting that victim-centered approach.
You measure success one case at a time.
Yeah. And that itself can be frustrating, but
yes,
because you want to help everybody and fix the problem
yes,
altogether, but it takes time.